Just a few works of the beautiful actress Jacqueline Bisset. Actor Richard Crenna, one of the stars of the new Sylvester Stallone film, First Blood. Registered nurse Sally Langandone on the preconception gender diet, the all-new method for pre-selecting the sex of your baby. Joyce Gilson with the astrological forecast for Hollywood. These are Mike's guests along with the entertainment news from Sandy Canyon. And it's all coming up. From Hollywood, it's Mike Douglas, People Now. Now, here's Mike.
Thank you, Dennis. Gee, that even smells good, that outfit.
Oh, what an extraordinary thing to say.
No, it does. I mean, the skins, I love that smell. Francois Truffaut once described my first guest as an actress who doesn't need dialogue to let you know what she's thinking. She starred in such films as Truffaut's Day for Night, Airport, The Deep, Rich and Famous, and recently Inchon. Jacqueline Bisset. How many people mispronounce that? A lot of, you know, somebody asked me today, who's on the show tonight? And I said, Jacqueline Bisset. He said, you mean Jacqueline Bisset?
Yeah,
and I said, no, I mean Bisset.
Lots of people do, and I don't mind. I gave up.
Rich and Famous was kind of a turning point for you in your career, in that you were the star and the co-producer and all. Has that experience changed the way you look at scripts now?
Well, it put me actually into a tilt, as I would call it, for about 2 years, because I couldn't then find anything after that it was what I wanted to take that direction and get involved in the films I'm acting in. But I found projects that I liked, but they weren't the ones that people wanted to finance, really. That's always the problem, is finding the work you want. Is it commercial or is it not commercial? So actually, the film I'm going to do now, which is called Class, which is a comedy, I'm just going to go to work as an actress. It's called Class. Class.
It sounds better the way you say class. It sounds so much better.
Which actually refers to school, prep school. I mean, it seems to be misinterpreted as being a sort of attitude, but it's actually referring to.
I saw you in a film. I can't get my mind off of it. And they were showing subtitles, and you were speaking French. I didn't know you were bilingual or multilingual, are you?
No, I'm just bilingual.
You do speak French,
No,
though. That was you. That wasn't somebody dubbing that for you.
No, which one was this?
I can't remember. Saw it on the cable.
I've done a couple of films in Italy speaking French as opposed to doing Italian, because they dub you afterwards anyway.
Sure.
And Italian and French are closer in terms of mouth movements. And I've done 2 French films in French, direct voice.
Is that fun? It must be very
terrifying.
Different. Is it terrifying?
Because my French wasn't good, and I would stutter and...
Sounded wonderful in this to me, of course.
Well, I was playing an English girl, so it didn't matter. He said, any mistake you make, it'll just add to the charm, so go ahead, just flounder.
You recently said that the women in the scripts that I'm currently being offered are all interchangeable. Can you explain that to me?
I have this feeling that people are becoming a little deadened or something, and that they're having relationships and breaking up from them and moving on to the next one without really letting the personality of the person they've been with get into them. It's as if we've become callous, and I see that reflected in scripts. I see that from all kind of areas, written by men, written by women, comedies, straight things. Frequently, the female characters are the same woman. I presume it's everybody's interpretation of the modern woman, but I don't like her that much.
Who writes best for women? Do men necessarily write best for women, or do women write best for women?
I don't know. I think it varies. It's a question, are you a good writer, and do you have perception? For Rich and Famous, Gerald Ayres wrote extremely well for women.
I love that movie, and yet it didn't do all that well.
Didn't do all that well. I don't think it was... it was exploited well, because God knows I know, because I went around doing the exploitation of it. But people hesitate maybe to see a picture about two women in friendship, and I think women loved it, and men understood it.
I like that movie.
Less.
Really?
Yeah, I think the hipper men understood it more, but
I understood that.
Some men were very threatened by it, mainly by my behavior.
You kind of played you in that, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm not
the things I've read about you.
Oh, come on. I didn't. I was playing a writer, an intellectual writer. I played, there were areas of me, of course. But it's not my, it's not, there's a degree of seriousness in the character and dedication that it maybe is me inside me. I do apply myself and I do get caught up and serious about stuff.
But I've heard you say things like, you know, when somebody mentions marriage, you know, and having a family and all, and I look at you and you're so beautiful, and I think, God, would she have great-looking kids, you know, if she didn't marry, you know, a zombie or something. But, and you say, I've heard you say, marriage is not for me.
I don't know if it's for me.
How can you make a statement like that?
I can't make it, and I haven't made it that often, but people, I've said it's a great institution, and for some people...
You don't want any part of it. It's great for some people, but not for me.
I think it is. I think life is a question of choice. You have to decide whether it suits you or whether it doesn't. It's pointless doing what everybody else does just because it's the fashion or the norm.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't suit you, you're... What's the point? The wonderful thing about life these days is that you have a choice. As a woman, you have a choice. And as a man, you have a choice. You don't have to take the heavy brick road and go and look after a woman for the rest of your life if you don't want to, and bring up kids. You can go and do your own thing and travel and blah, blah, whatever. And women can do the same thing.
What kind of reaction do you get when you say that to your mother?
My mother says, great. She said to me when she never said you're going to get married and have kids and all that stuff. She said, you must go to university, darling. You'll have such fun. You'll meet all kinds of wonderful men, and you'll be the most brilliant, exciting time of your life. And then if you're lucky, you'll carry on that way. She never said you're going to have to settle down.
And was it?
I didn't go to university. I didn't get that far.
Your father was a doctor, and your mother
was a lawyer.
Oh, my goodness.
But she thought, they didn't say you have to, and it's not that I'm much less crazy than my mother is. Because, you know, when you have somebody in your family who's sort of,
is she that way?
She probably was.
Eccentric, that's
eccentric.
A nice
She's
word,
eccentric. No, she's definitely eccentric. Somebody has to be serious.
Kooky,
somebody has to be serious, and I got lumbered with all the serious stuff, and I'm just coming out of it. It's taken me about, 15 years to come out of it.
Well, it's wearing well on you.
It's true, though.
We're going to continue with Jacqueline Bisset right after this. Let's see, I got myself saying it wrong now. Right after these messages.